The Druid also needs healing. Volume 2 The World Seed. Chapter 1 The journey begins. The crimson pillar still burned across the night sky. It stretched from the depths beneath the city to the heavens above, a beacon visible for hundreds of kilometers. People filled social media with photos. Meteor. Aurora. Government experiment. No one knew the truth. Only a handful of people understood. The world had just changed. Deep beneath the city, the battle had finally ended. Spirit keepers worked side by side with shadow garden healers, tending to the wounded. For the first time in centuries, they were no longer enemies. Professor Helena quietly watched them. Perhaps this was always how things were meant to be. Verdroz walked beside her. I hope you're right. Neither of them noticed that they were smiling. Nearby, Noah sat alone on a stone ledge. His breathing was uneven. Every muscle in his body ached. Ash landed softly on his shoulder. You look terrible. I feel worse. Ash chuckled. At least you're honest. Noah looked toward the broken corruption core. I couldn't destroy it. You weren't supposed to. Ash's expression became serious. The world seed wasn't left behind to defeat corruption. It was left behind to restore life. Footsteps echoed behind them. Kai dropped onto the rock beside Noah while holding 3 canned drinks. I bought these from a vending machine upstairs. He tossed one toward Noah. Thanks. Kai grinned. You thanked me. Again. I'm growing. Kai laughed loudly. You definitely are. A gentle breeze swept through the cavern. Tiny emerald leaves floated through the air. Mira caught one before it touched the ground. It has begun. Everyone turned toward her. She slowly closed her eyes. Blue light surrounded her. I can see the path. The world seed is calling. Professor Helena unfolded an old map. Ancient symbols glowed across it. The first sanctuary. She pointed toward a vast mountain range covered by forests. The Emerald Highlands. Ash's ears twitched. I don't like that place. Kai looked confused. Why? The guardian living there. Ash shivered dramatically. He's grumpy. Noah blinked. That's your explanation. He once chased me for 3 days because I stole one apple. You stole. It was a very shiny apple. Kai burst into laughter. Even Mira covered her mouth to hide a smile. Noah quietly shook his head. For the first time since his reincarnation, the atmosphere felt light, peaceful, almost normal. The following morning, the group stood at the city's central train station. Each carried a small backpack. Noah wore his school uniform beneath a light green jacket. Kai carried far too many snacks. Professor Helena brought several old journals. Mira carried only a small satchel and the glowing sapphire feather. Ash proudly rode on Noah's shoulder. Verdroz stood several steps away. I cannot leave my people. Noah nodded. I understand. Verdroz extended his hand. Noah. Bring hope back to this world. Noah accepted the handshake. I'll try. As the train departed, the city slowly disappeared behind them. Towering buildings gave way to rolling hills. Concrete became forests. The air became cleaner. Noah quietly opened the window. A cool breeze brushed against his face. He closed his eyes. I can feel them. The spirits. Noah nodded. They're stronger here. Tiny green lights danced among the trees outside. Children on the train pointed excitedly. Fireflies. Only Noah smiled. They're welcoming us. Hours later, the train stopped at a quiet mountain town. The sign read, Emerald Highlands. The town was peaceful. Small wooden houses lined the streets. Flower gardens bloomed in every yard. Beyond the village stood an endless ancient forest. Its trees reached so high that their tops disappeared into the clouds. The moment Noah stepped onto the platform, a powerful pulse of spirit energy swept through the mountains. Deep within the forest, golden eyes slowly opened. An ancient voice echoed through the trees. The child of the world tree has returned. Birds took flight all at once. The forest was awake. Volume 2 Chapter 2. The Guardian of the Emerald Highlands. Morning sunlight filtered through the towering trees. The Emerald Highlands were unlike any forest Noah had ever seen. Every leaf shimmered with faint spirit energy. Gentle streams glowed emerald beneath ancient wooden bridges. Tiny spirits laughed as they danced among the flowers. Even the wind carried a peaceful melody. Noah closed his eyes. It feels alive. Professor Helena smiled. It is. This forest is one of the oldest spirit sanctuaries left on Earth. Ash stretched lazily on No's shoulder. And one of the grumpiest. Kai looked around excitedly. So where's this guardian? Ash pointed toward the mountain. At the top. Kai smiled. Easy. The moment he took one step toward the trail, the ground shook. Boom. Massive roots burst from the earth, blocking the path. A deep voice echoed across the forest. Who dares disturb my slumber? The spirits instantly hid behind the trees. Even Ash lowered his ears. See, I told you. A gigantic figure emerged from the forest. It stood over 4 meters tall. Its body resembled a man carved from ancient oak. Emerald vines wrapped around its arms. Its antlers stretched like tree branches toward the sky. Golden eyes calmly observed the group. The pressure alone made Kai take a step backward. Professor Helena bowed respectfully. Guardian Elder. The giant remained silent. Then, its gaze stopped on Noah. The ancient being slowly knelt. Every spirit in the forest gasped. Archdruid. Noah quickly stepped forward. Please don't bow. The guardian smiled warmly. You have not changed. Noah shook his head. I don't remember meeting you. The guardian chuckled. You planted my first acorn. Everyone froze. What? The guardian placed one massive hand over his chest. My name is Sylvan. I was once the smallest spirit in this forest. A tiny memory surfaced inside Noah's mind. A lonely little sprout, barely surviving after a wildfire. A young druid kneeling beside it. Grow well. One day, this forest will need you. The memory disappeared. Noah smiled softly. You survived. Sylvan laughed. Because you believed I could. Suddenly, the forest became unnaturally quiet. The birds stopped singing. The breeze disappeared. Ash's expression darkened. Something's wrong. Mira's oracle mark glowed blue. I see. Hundreds. What? Corrupted spirits. The ground beneath them turned black. Dark cracks spread through the forest. One after another, spirit animals emerged from the shadows. Black wolves, corrupted deer, twisted birds, dozens, then hundreds. Their crimson eyes glowed with hatred. Sylvan slammed his wooden staff against the earth. Boom. Ancient trees rose like walls around the group. Protect the Archdruid. Spirit guardians leapt into battle. The peaceful forest transformed into a battlefield. Kai summoned his radiant armor. Guardian art. Golden shields surrounded the weaker spirits. Helena and the spirit keepers purified corrupted beasts one after another. Verdro's elite warriors, who had secretly followed at a distance, joined the fight without hesitation. Former enemies fought side by side once again. Noah looked toward the center of the forest. He could feel it. There. The corruption isn't spreading randomly. It's coming from one place. Mira nodded. I saw the same future. Ash pointed deeper into the mountains. The Heart Grove. Sylvan's face immediately darkened. No. Everyone looked at him. The world seed rests beneath the Heart Grove. Silence. Professor Helena slowly whispered. So, the corruption has already reached it. Without warning, a piercing scream echoed through the mountains. The entire forest trembled. Ancient trees began to wither. The spirits cried in fear. High above the canopy, a colossal shadow slowly spread its wings. It resembled an enormous raven. Its feathers were made of living darkness. Its eyes burned crimson like twin suns. Sylvan clenched his staff. The Raven King. Ash stared upward in disbelief. It corrupted one of the ancient guardians. The Raven King opened its beak. A deafening cry shook the mountains. The world seed answered. Far beneath the Heart Grove, a faint emerald light pulsed once. As if calling Noah. Volume 2 Chapter 3. The Heart Grove. The Raven King's cry echoed across the Emerald Highlands. Craw. Dark feathers drifted through the sky like falling ash. Wherever they landed, flowers withered. Streams turned murky. Spirit beasts fled deeper into the forest. The corruption was spreading. Fast. Noah looked toward the distant mountain. Far beyond the endless trees. A gentle emerald light pulsed once. Then again. Like the heartbeat of the forest itself. The world seed. It's calling. Mira's sapphire eyes glowed. I've seen this moment. But every future changes after we enter the Heart Grove. Kai scratched his head. So, we're walking into the unknown. Mira nodded. For the first time, I cannot see beyond it. Sylvan stepped forward. The heart grove rejects those with greed in their hearts. It reveals your greatest fear. It tests your greatest wish. Ash shivered. I failed that trial. Kai blinked. What happened? Ash looked away. I tried to steal another apple. Everyone stared at him. What? It looked delicious. Even Noah laughed softly. For a moment, the fear surrounding them faded. The group entered the ancient forest. Unlike the rest of the highlands, the heart grove was silent. No birds sang. No insects chirped. Only the soft rustling of emerald leaves filled the air. The trees here were unimaginably ancient. Some trunks were wider than entire buildings. Golden vines hung from their branches. Tiny lights floated between them like stars. Noah reached out and touched the bark of one giant tree. Instantly, a warm voice echoed inside his heart. Welcome home. His emerald pendant began to glow. The surrounding trees bowed slightly. Every spirit in the forest whispered together. The Archdruid has returned. Deep beneath the roots, something answered. A pulse of pure life energy spread throughout the grove. The corruption halted. Just for a moment, the Raven King screamed in anger. Suddenly, the forest changed. The group found themselves standing in different places. Kai, Professor, Mira, no answer. The Heart Grove had separated them. No's trial. Noah opened his eyes. He stood beneath the world tree of his previous life. Everything looked exactly as he remembered. The wind, the flowers, the peaceful spirits. A familiar voice called out. Arindor. Noah turned. Standing beneath the tree was a young man with silver hair and emerald eyes. He smiled warmly. I've been waiting. No's heart pounded. Who are you? The young man laughed. You really forgot. He walked closer. We planted this tree together. Fragments of forgotten memories flooded No's mind. Laughter. Training. Traveling across countless forests. Two friends promising to protect every living thing. Oren. The name escaped No's lips before he realized it. The young man's smile softened. So you still remember. Noah reached toward him. You were my friend. Oren nodded. My first friend. But his body slowly cracked like broken glass. Black corruption spread across his skin. You couldn't save me. The peaceful forest turned dark. The world tree withered. Oren's smile became sorrowful. You blamed yourself. For thousands of years. Noah fell to one knee. No, I'm sorry. I promised I'd save everyone. Oren gently shook his head. You cannot heal every wound. His fading hand rested on No's shoulder. The healer also needs healing. The words pierced No's heart. Tears quietly rolled down his face. For the first time since his reincarnation, he cried, not from pain, not from exhaustion, but from grief he had carried across countless lifetimes. Outside the illusion, the emerald pendant burst with brilliant light. The entire heart grove glowed. Deep beneath the roots, a tiny emerald seed floated into the air. It had finally recognized its master. High above, the Raven King descended. Its massive wings covered the sky. It stared directly at the glowing world seed. Then at Noah. Its crimson eyes narrowed. This time, I will not let you awaken. The forest trembled. The true battle for the world seed was about to begin. Volume 2 Chapter 4. The first fragment. The Raven King's wings blotted out the sky. Dark feathers drifted like snow, poisoning everything they touched. The once vibrant heart grove slowly lost its color. Ancient flowers wilted. The emerald streams turned gray. Even the giant trees groaned in pain. The corruption had reached the sanctuary's heart. Noah slowly stood. His tears had dried, but Oren's words still echoed in his heart. The healer also needs healing. For the first time, he understood. Healing others while ignoring his own wounds had never been true balance. The forest had not shown him failure. It had shown him what he still needed to accept. The glowing emerald seed floated before him. No larger than an acorn. Yet its presence filled the entire grove with warm life energy. It gently circled Noah. Like an old friend, Ash smiled. It remembers you. Noah carefully reached out. The tiny seed landed softly in his palm. The instant he touched it, a brilliant emerald light erupted across the heart grove. Far away, Kai, Mira, Helena, and Sylvan all stopped fighting. What was that? The corruption surrounding them retreated for a brief moment. Flowers bloomed again. Spirit beasts regained their senses. The Raven King screamed in fury. No. Inside No's mind, he found himself standing in an endless emerald field. Countless giant trees stretched into the sky. At the center stood Orin. This time, he wasn't corrupted. He smiled peacefully. You've finally come. Noah lowered his head. I'm sorry. Orin chuckled. You've apologized enough. I failed you. You were never supposed to save everyone. Silence filled the field. Then Orin gently handed Noah a glowing leaf. The world seed doesn't choose the strongest. It chooses the one who continues planting hope. The leaf dissolved into countless particles. The emerald seed in Noah's hand cracked. A tiny green sprout emerged. It wrapped around Noah's wrist like a bracelet. A warm voice echoed across the sanctuary. First fragment accepted. Archdruid authority restored. 10%. Suddenly, Noah could feel it. Spirit energy. Not tiny traces. Not weak whispers. An endless ocean flowing beneath the earth. His connection with nature had grown stronger than ever before. Outside, the hard grove exploded with life. Ancient trees stood taller. Corrupted flowers returned to full bloom. Hundreds of spirit beasts gathered around Noah. Each lowered its head, not in fear, in respect. The Archdruid had returned. The Raven King descended. Its massive claws shattered the forest floor. Its crimson eyes glared at Noah. You must never awaken. It unleashed a torrent of corrupted flames. The entire heart grove disappeared beneath black fire. Kai shouted. Noah. Mira desperately searched countless futures. Every path ended in destruction. Except one. There. She pointed toward Noah. The seed. Noah calmly closed his eyes. The tiny sprout around his wrist glowed. Druid art. Emerald vines burst from the earth. Forest domain. The entire sanctuary transformed. Towering trees erupted toward the heavens. Countless flowers bloomed instantly. Rivers of emerald light flowed beneath the ground. The black flames vanished upon touching the sacred forest. The Raven King stumbled backward. What? This is impossible. Sylvan smiled proudly. The true forest domain. I haven't seen it in thousands of years. Ash laughed excitedly. He's finally becoming himself again. Noah slowly opened his eyes. His emerald aura spread across the mountains. For the first time since his reincarnation, his sickly body felt light. He took a deep breath. No pain, no coughing, no dizziness, only peace. He smiled. So this is what breathing freely feels like. The Raven King roared in panic. If the Archdruid awakens completely, our master will lose. Dark chains suddenly burst from the sky. They wrapped tightly around the Raven King's body. The bird screamed in agony. The corruption wasn't allowing it to retreat. A familiar voice echoed from the heavens. You have served well. Now become nourishment. The chains crushed the Raven King. Its corruption was absorbed into the darkness above. Only a small emerald feather drifted gently toward Noah. He caught it. Inside the feather, he heard a faint whisper. Thank you. Noah looked toward the dark sky. Someone was sacrificing corrupted guardians after they failed. The true mastermind was still watching. And he had just declared war. Volume 2 Chapter 5. The Forest That Remembered. Silence filled the heart grove. The Raven King was gone. Only a single emerald feather rested in Noah's hand. The breeze carried its last gratitude through the ancient trees. Thank you. The whisper faded. Noah closed his fingers around the feather. I promise. I'll free the others too. The heart grove responded. Ancient trees glowed with emerald light. Thousands of spirit beasts emerged from the forest. White wolves, golden deer, emerald foxes, crystal birds, even giant forest turtles slowly approached. Each bowed before Noah, not because he commanded them, but because the forest remembered him. Kai stared in amazement. I've never seen so many spirits. Ash smiled proudly. They've been hiding for centuries. They finally have someone they trust. Sylvan walked toward Noah carrying an ancient wooden chest. The chest looked as though it had grown from the roots of the world tree itself. It belongs to you. Noah looked confused. I've never seen it. Sylvan laughed. You made it. What? You simply forgot. The chest opened by itself. Inside rested 3 objects. An emerald-colored cloak woven from living vines. A wooden ring carved from a single branch. And a weathered journal. Noah carefully picked up the journal. The first page read, if you are reading this, Then I have been reincarnated again. Everyone froze. Kai slowly looked at Noah. Quote. You wrote a letter to yourself. Noah quietly nodded. Quote. Apparently. He turned the page. The handwriting was unmistakably his. To my future self. You will wake in another world with almost no memories. Do not despair. You chose this path. The world seed was divided into 7 fragments because no single life could protect it forever. Find the 7 sanctuaries. Restore the 7 fragments. Only then will the world tree bloom again. Noah slowly closed the journal. So there are. Quote. 7 fragments. Professor Helena smiled. 1 down. 6 remaining. Mira's oracle mark suddenly glowed. Blue visions flooded her mind. She staggered. No. Helena quickly supported her. What did you see? Mira's voice trembled. The next sanctuary. It's already under attack. She looked toward the distant western horizon. The sea of mist. Ash's ears stood upright. Oh no. Kai sighed. Why do I feel like you're about to tell us something terrible? Ash nodded seriously. The guardian there is a dragon. Silence. Kai blinked. Quote. Dragon. Ash nodded again. The oldest one on Earth. And he absolutely hates humans. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Not from corruption. From footsteps. Heavy. Steady. An elderly woman slowly walked into the grove. She wore simple traveling clothes. A wooden staff supported her every step. Despite her age, every spirit respectfully lowered its head. Sylvan smiled warmly. You finally came. Noah politely bowed. Who are you? The old woman looked at him for a long moment. Then, she gently flicked his forehead. Ouch. She sighed. You still forget everything after every reincarnation. Noah rubbed his forehead. Quote. Sorry. She smiled kindly. My name is Grandmother Iris. I was your first disciple. Everyone stared at her in shock. Kai nearly dropped his shield. Quote. First. Grandmother Iris chuckled. About 3,000 years ago. Noah searched his memories. Nothing. I don't remember. She gently patted his head. I know. That's why I stayed alive. Silence filled the grove. Professor Helena whispered. Quote. Humans don't live that long. Grandmother Iris smiled mysteriously. I stopped being human a very long time ago. Before anyone could ask another question. She looked directly at Noah. Your enemies already know where the next fragment is. She raised her staff. The air shimmered. A map made entirely of emerald light appeared before them. 7 glowing points stretched across the world. 1 shone brightly. The Heart Grove. 6 remained dim. But, one of them was already turning black. The Sea of Mist. Grandmother Iris closed her eyes. If you don't reach it in time, the Dragon Guardian will become the next Raven King. Noah tightened his grip on the journal. Their journey had only begun. But time was already running out. Volume 2 Chapter 6. The Sea of Mist. The morning sun had barely risen. Noah and his companions stood at the edge of the Emerald Highlands. Behind them, the ancient forest shimmered with renewed life. Before them, a long road stretched toward the western sea. Grandmother Iris watched them leave with a gentle smile. The first fragment has accepted you. But every fragment after this will demand a greater price. Noah bowed respectfully. I'll be ready. She shook her head. No, you'll only survive if you stop trying to bear every burden alone. Her words lingered in Noah's heart. The group traveled for 3 days. Mountains became hills. Hills became endless grasslands. Eventually, the scent of salt filled the air. Kai climbed onto a cliff. His eyes widened. Quote. Whoa. An endless ocean stretched toward the horizon. Except, it wasn't blue. The sea was covered in glowing white mist. Massive stone pillars rose from the water like forgotten giants. Ancient ruins floated between the waves. Countless islands drifted slowly as though carried by invisible currents. Professor Helena smiled softly. The Sea of Mist. The second sanctuary. Ash immediately hid behind Noah's neck. I don't like this place. Kai laughed. Scared. Of the dragon. Quote. No. Quote. Maybe. Mira's oracle mark shimmered. I can't see beyond the mist. The future disappears here. Professor Helena nodded. The Sea of Mist bends space itself. Those who enter without permission never return. As they stepped onto the old wooden pier, the ocean became silent. Even the waves stopped moving. Then, a bell rang. Dong. Once. Twice. 3 times. The mist slowly parted. An ancient ship emerged. It was unlike any modern vessel. Its hull was carved from silver wood. Emerald vines wrapped around its sails. Ghostly lanterns floated around it. At the helm stood a lone sailor. His long silver-blue hair fluttered in the sea breeze. Golden dragon horns curved gently from his head. One emerald eye remained open. The other was covered by an old scar. He looked no older than 30. Yet, the air around him felt older than mountains. Ash immediately buried his face in Noah's hood. It's him. The sailor looked at Noah. Then sighed. You're late. Everyone blinked. Kai pointed at himself. Us. No. The sailor crossed the water without using the ship. Each step created blooming lotus flowers upon the sea. He stopped before Noah. You promised. You said you'd return in 100 years. He folded his arms. It's been over 3,000. Noah lowered his head. I don't remember. The sailor stared at him for a long moment. Then flicked Noah's forehead. Idiot. Kai whispered to Mira. Why does everyone keep doing that? Mira smiled. Maybe he deserves it. The sailor finally smiled. My name is Kylam, the guardian of the Sea of Mist. The last ancient dragon. Everyone fell silent. The dragon before them radiated overwhelming spirit energy. Yet, Noah noticed something strange. Kylam's left arm trembled slightly. Black veins spread beneath his sleeve. His scar wasn't from battle. It pulsed with corruption. Noah's expression darkened. You're already infected. Kylam looked away. I know. Suddenly, the sea began to churn violently. The mist turned black. A deafening roar echoed from beneath the waves. Ancient ruins collapsed into the ocean. Mira's face turned pale. It found us. Professor Helena immediately opened her spellbook. Battle positions. The ocean exploded. A colossal serpent burst from the depths. Its body stretched for hundreds of meters. Black scales reflected crimson light. Its eyes burned with madness. The sea itself twisted around its coils. Ash gasped. The Leviathan. Kylam's expression hardened. It was once my younger brother. The corrupted sea dragon let out a sorrowful roar that shook the horizon. Noah looked at the enormous creature. Just like the Raven King. It wasn't born a monster. It had once been a guardian. He clenched his fist. I'll save him. Kylam quietly looked at Noah. Then, for the first time, the ancient dragon smiled. Welcome back, my oldest friend. Volume 2 Chapter 7. The Dragon's Regret. The Leviathan's roar split the heavens. ROOOOOOAAARRR. Towering waves crashed against the cliffs. Ancient ships hidden beneath the mist were swallowed whole. The Sea of Mist became a raging storm. Noah stood at the edge of the pier. The emerald sprout wrapped around his wrist glowed softly. Behind him, Kai raised his shield. Mira prepared another oracle spell. Professor Helena summoned dozens of emerald sigils. Kylam quietly stepped forward. No. Everyone looked at him. This battle is mine. The ancient dragon walked across the ocean. Lotus flowers bloomed beneath every step. The raging sea calmed around him. He looked toward the gigantic black serpent. Little brother. The Leviathan paused. For a brief second, its crimson eyes trembled. Brother. A broken voice escaped its mouth. Then the corruption surged again. Dark chains wrapped tighter around its enormous body. The Leviathan screamed in agony. I can't control myself. Noah clenched his fists. Just like the Raven King. Ash nodded sadly. The corruption is forcing them to fight. Kylam closed his eyes. I failed him. Thousands of years ago, the two dragon brothers had guarded the Sea of Mist together. One watched over travelers. The other protected the world seed hidden beneath the ocean. When corruption first appeared, the younger dragon chose to seal it inside himself. Kylam promised he would find a cure. He never did. The Leviathan charged. Its massive body split the sea. A towering wall of water rushed toward the group. Kai planted his shield. Guardian art. Golden tidewall. A radiant barrier rose across the shoreline. The tsunami slammed into it. Boom. Kai was pushed backward several meters. It's heavy. Noah immediately placed a hand on Kai's shoulder. Druid art. Verdant strength. Emerald vines wrapped around Kai's armor. His legs stopped sliding. The shield held firm. Kai grinned. Now that's teamwork. Kylum spread his arms. Azure light erupted around him. His human appearance dissolved. Silver scales covered his body. Gigantic wings unfolded across the sky. Within moments, a magnificent silver dragon soared above the ocean. The mist itself obeyed his command. Ash smiled proudly. There he is. The Dragon King. The two dragons collided. The impact shattered clouds. Lightning flashed across the heavens. Every roar echoed for miles. The sea of mist trembled beneath their power. Noah watched silently. They're both crying. Mira nodded. They don't want to fight. Deep beneath the waves, the world seed pulsed. The second fragment sensed Noah's arrival. It was waiting, but something else waited as well. A familiar voice echoed through the ocean. Archdruid. Noah's eyes widened. Orin. No. The voice was different. Older. Gentler. Come below. The fragment cannot awaken while the sea mourns. Without hesitation, Noah stepped toward the ocean. Kai grabbed his arm. What are you doing? I'm going underwater. You can't breathe underwater. Noah blinked. Right. Ash sighed. He really forgot. Kylum laughed despite the battle. He breathed a stream of silver light toward Noah. The light formed a shimmering bubble around him. There, you may breathe beneath the sea. Noah smiled. Thank you. He stepped into the ocean. Instead of sinking, the sea gently welcomed him. Schools of glowing fish surrounded him. Spirit whales sang in the distance. Ancient ruins slept beneath the waves. At the very bottom, a colossal temple rested on the ocean floor. Its gates slowly opened. Inside, an elderly sea spirit sat beneath a glowing coral tree. She smiled warmly. I've waited. For 3,000 years. Outside the temple, the battle between the Dragon King and the corrupted Leviathan continued. Above the waves, a storm raged. Below them, the truth behind the second fragment was finally about to be revealed. Volume 2 Chapter 8. The Temple Beneath the Waves. The ocean embraced Noah. A sphere of silver light, gifted by Kylum, surrounded him as he descended through the endless blue. Above, the clash between the two dragons shook the sea. Lightning flashed beneath the waves. The Leviathan roared. Kylum answered with a cry that carried both sorrow and determination. Below, only silence remained. Ancient fish swam peacefully beside Noah. Massive sea turtles drifted through forests of glowing coral. Transparent jellyfish illuminated the darkness like floating stars. Every creature watched him with gentle curiosity. None fled. Instead, they followed. The sea remembers him. Ash whispered from inside the protective bubble. At the ocean floor stood a forgotten city. Towering marble pillars stretched toward the surface. Gardens of crystal coral bloomed where streets once lay. Ancient statues depicted dragons, spirits, and a young druid planting a glowing seed. Noah stopped before one statue. That's me. Professor Helena, watching through a spirit mirror above, murmured. This sanctuary is older than recorded history. At the city's center rose a magnificent temple carved from white stone and blue crystal. Its doors were sealed with 7 glowing emblems. The moment Noah approached, his emerald bracelet shone. The first emblem lit up. The great doors slowly opened. Rumble. Warm light spilled into the dark ocean. Inside, the temple was untouched by time. No water entered its halls. Ancient trees grew beside streams that floated in midair. The ceiling resembled a night sky filled with glowing constellations. At the far end sat an elderly woman with long silver hair woven with pearls and coral. She wore robes that shimmered like moonlight upon the sea. She smiled as Noah entered. Welcome home. Archdruid. Noah bowed respectfully. I apologize. I don't remember you. The woman chuckled softly. You always say that. My name is Neria. I was once the high priestess of the ocean sanctuary. I have guarded the second fragment since the day you entrusted it to me. She looked toward the ceiling. The dragons have protected this place. For thousands of years. A hint of sadness crossed her face. They've suffered enough. Neria raised her hand. The temple floor transformed into shimmering water. Scenes from the distant past appeared. A younger Noah stood beside Orin. Kylum and the Leviathan circled the skies in their majestic dragon forms. The four laughed together beneath a giant tree whose roots reached into both land and sea. Kai, watching through Helena's spirit mirror, blinked. So, they were all friends. Helena nodded sadly. Before corruption divided them, the vision changed. A dark meteor crashed into the ocean. Black mist spread across the sea. The younger Leviathan rushed forward. I'll contain it. He wrapped his body around the corruption. Brother, seal me away. Kylam screamed in protest. No. The younger dragon smiled. One life, for the world. The vision ended. Silence filled the temple. Noah closed his eyes. So he chose this. Neria nodded. He became the prison. But prisons eventually break. She walked toward a crystal altar. Resting upon it was a glowing sapphire pearl surrounded by emerald vines. The second fragment. It cannot awaken, until the sea forgives itself. Above the ocean, the battle reached its climax. The Leviathan's corruption spread into the storm clouds. Black rain began falling across the sea of mist. Every drop poisoned the water. Kylam's silver scales slowly darkened. Ash gasped. The corruption is spreading to him. Neria looked directly at Noah. There are only two choices. Destroy the Leviathan, or heal the corruption inside him. Noah didn't hesitate. I'll save him. Neria smiled warmly. I knew that would be your answer. She touched Noah's forehead. A blue symbol appeared beside the emerald sprout on his wrist. The second fragment accepts your resolve. The sapphire pearl floated into Noah's hands. Outside, the ocean began to glow. The Sea of Mist itself had chosen its Archdruid once again. But far beyond the horizon, hidden within a whirlpool of endless darkness, a pair of enormous crimson eyes slowly opened. A deep voice echoed through the abyss. Two fragments. He is awakening faster than expected. A massive shadow, stirred beneath the deepest trench on Earth. The true enemy had begun to move. Volume 2 Chapter 9. The second fragment awakens. The sapphire pearl floated above Noah's hands. Tiny streams of blue and emerald light intertwined around it like living vines. The moment Noah accepted the second fragment, the entire ocean temple trembled. The crystal pillars glowed. Ancient murals awakened. The sea itself seemed to breathe. Neria smiled softly. It remembers its master. Far above, the battle reached its breaking point. The corrupted Leviathan coiled around Kylam. Dark chains dug deeper into both dragons' bodies. The sea churned violently. Black rain continued to fall. Every drop spread corruption across the waves. Kylam roared in pain. Go. Leave this place. Noah shook his head. I won't abandon either of you. The sapphire pearl dissolved into countless glowing droplets. They merged with the emerald sprout wrapped around Noah's wrist. A second vine appeared beside the first. A calm voice echoed throughout the sanctuary. Second fragment accepted. Archdruid authority restored. 20%. The sea answered. Every river, every lake, every drop of water connected to the world's spirit veins shimmered for a brief moment. Across distant countries, hidden water spirits looked toward the western ocean. The Archdruid has awakened another fragment. Noah felt a surge of power unlike anything since his reincarnation. The suffocating weakness in his chest eased. His breathing became effortless. His senses expanded. He could hear whales singing hundreds of kilometers away. He could feel every coral reef, every fish, every current. Life itself whispered to him. Neria gently placed a hand on his shoulder. Go. The sea has chosen you. Noah ascended toward the surface. The ocean carried him upward. Schools of glowing fish followed. Whales swam beside him. Ancient sea spirits emerged from forgotten ruins. One by one, they gathered behind him. An entire ocean answered the Archdruid's call. The surface exploded with emerald blue light. Boom. Everyone looked up. Kai smiled. He's back. Mira's tense expression softened. The future changed. For the better. Noah floated above the sea. The ocean supported him as if he weighed nothing. His green cloak fluttered in the wind. The emerald and sapphire vines around his wrist shone together. The Leviathan stared at him. For the first time, the corruption hesitated. Arindor. Its voice trembled. You came. Noah slowly raised both hands. Druid art. The sea became silent. Even the storm stopped. Ocean of renewal. Emerald vines burst from beneath the waves. Crystal blue lotus flowers bloomed across the ocean's surface. The black rain evaporated into harmless mist. Warm life energy spread through the Leviathan's enormous body. The corruption screamed. Dark chains cracked. One after another. They shattered. The Leviathan let out a heartbreaking cry. Its crimson eyes slowly returned to brilliant sapphire blue. Its black scales turned silver. The corruption dissolved like smoke beneath the morning sun. The ancient sea dragon was free. Kylam smiled through tears. Brother. The Leviathan gently lowered his enormous head. I'm sorry. I almost forgot who I was. Kylam laughed softly. You remembered. That's enough. The two dragons wrapped around each other in the sky. For thousands of years, the brothers had finally reunited. Suddenly, the sea darkened again, not from corruption, from something far deeper. The ocean floor shook. Even the dragons became tense. Neria's voice echoed through No's mind. It's waking, far beneath the deepest trench. The enormous crimson eyes opened completely. A creature larger than mountains slowly stirred, not corrupted, not a spirit, something older than both. Its deep voice echoed across the world's oceans. Two fragments restored. The world tree's child returns. The sea itself trembled in fear. Even Kylam lowered his head. The abyssal king. Noah looked toward the endless horizon. He could feel it watching him. Waiting, not as an enemy, not yet, but as a being that had existed long before the first world tree ever sprouted. Their next meeting would decide the fate of the oceans themselves. Volume 2 Chapter 10. The Dragon's Blessing. The ocean remained silent. Far below the waves, the crimson eyes slowly disappeared into the endless abyss. Yet the fear they left behind lingered. Even the sea of mist seemed reluctant to move. Noah quietly exhaled. It wasn't hostile. Kylam nodded. No, it was only watching. But if it ever awakens, even dragons cannot stop it. The storm clouds finally dispersed. Sunlight broke through for the first time in days. Golden rays touched the ocean. The sea of mist sparkled like a sea of diamonds. The corruption had vanished. Sea spirits emerged from hiding. Glowing dolphins leapt joyfully through the waves. Whales sang ancient songs of celebration. The sanctuary had been saved. The Leviathan slowly approached Noah. No longer a creature of corruption. He had become a magnificent sapphire dragon. His enormous body shimmered beneath the sunlight. He lowered his head. Thank you. Noah gently placed a hand against his scales. I promised I'd save you. The dragon smiled. And you kept your promise. Kylam laughed softly. You really haven't changed. He suddenly flicked No's forehead again. Ouch. Kai burst into laughter. I'm starting to think that's a tradition. Ash nodded. It absolutely is. Neria emerged from the temple, walking across the ocean as if it were solid ground. She carried a crystal chest. The sanctuary has one final gift. She opened it. Inside rested a silver-blue pendant shaped like a dragon wrapped around a leaf. This is the dragon's blessing. It belonged to the first alliance between dragons and druids. It now belongs to you. Noah accepted it with both hands. The pendant dissolved into light. It settled beside the emerald pendant already hanging around his neck. Warm energy flowed throughout his body. The lingering pain in his lungs faded even more. His heart beat stronger than ever before. A gentle voice echoed through the sky. Second sanctuary completed. World seed restoration. 2 of 7 fragments. Archdruid authority. 20% stabilized. Countless emerald leaves and sapphire petals drifted across the sea. Mira suddenly grabbed her head. Her oracle mark flared brilliantly. Blue visions flooded her mind. No. Kai rushed beside her. What did you see? She slowly looked north. Her face had turned pale. I saw snow. Professor Helena frowned. The next sanctuary. Mira nodded. The frozen north. But tears formed in her eyes. The guardian is already dead. Silence fell over the group. Kylam closed his eyes. So it has begun. The corruption is moving faster. The Leviathan added quietly. The enemy no longer waits. They're hunting the fragments first. Noah tightened his grip around the journal left by his previous life. He opened to the next unread page. A single sentence had appeared where there had once been blank paper. If the third guardian has fallen, do not seek revenge. Seek the child they protected. Everyone looked at one another. Professor Helena whispered. A child. Ash's ears twitched. I've heard the legend. Every sanctuary chooses a successor. If the guardian dies, their final blessing is entrusted to someone new. Mira looked toward the distant northern sky. So we're not looking for the guardian. We're looking for their heir. That evening, the group boarded Kylem's ancient spirit ship. Its silver sails caught a magical wind. The vessel glided across the sea without touching the water. The sea of mist slowly disappeared behind them. On the highest mast, Kylem stood with folded arms. The Leviathan swam beside the ship beneath the waves, escorting them safely toward the northern horizon. For the first time since the journey began, their party had grown stronger. Not only in power, but in trust. Noah looked up at the stars. His breathing was steady. His body felt lighter than ever before. Yet he knew, the hardest journey was still ahead. Far away, beyond endless frozen mountains, a lone child carrying a glowing white crystal ran through a blizzard. Behind the child, countless corrupted beasts gave chase. A deep horn echoed across the snow. The hunt had already begun. End of Volume 2. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.